Hi, my name is Victor Mbachi. I want to thank you for taking out the time to click on this video, particularly if it's your first time of watching any of our videos at the School of Wisdom. And for those that have been watching our videos, I'm sure you will testify on how these videos have been helpful for your personal growth and balance in life. Now, I do not take your time for granted. I do not take your data for granted, but I want to assure you that your data will be well spent if you only can wait 10 minutes to watch this video from the beginning to the end. Because interestingly, I'm going to be wrapping up a series I started about 4 episodes back on the subject of personal growth. The most important path of your growth lies within you and is formed by your decisions and the things you do consciously and intentionally. Okay. So today I'm going to be talking to you about personal growth step 4. But let me quickly do a recap on what we've been talking about in the last 3 episodes. I spoke about the ABCs of personal growth, and today we're going to be dealing with the letter D on personal growth. In the first part, I spoke about accountability, which is the first step to personal growth. And accountability talks about what you want, why you want it, how you want it, and when you want it. Now, if you cannot answer the questions of accountability, I'm very much in doubt of your pursuit for personal growth. Now, in part 2 of personal growth, I taught you guys about the letter B, and B stands for believe. Believe in the right process, believe in the right people, and believe in the right powers. So in part 3, I talked about the letter C, which was in the last episode, and I talked about commitment. Commitment is a pledge and an undertaking to a cause or to an action. I defined it in 3 ways, but most importantly, I gave you the commitment pyramid. There were 5 of them. All right, so if you have watched part 1, 2, and 3 before now, excellent. So we can ride on. But before then, so I'd encourage you to take out time to join me on the 1st of October. The time will be from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning, so you can have the rest of the day to do other things that you wish to do. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. we're going to be having our very first Zoom Masterclass on personal growth. That is the platform where I'm going to be wrapping up every single part on personal growth. And trust me, it's going to be mind-shifting and would help you to see yourself positioned properly for the growth that you have always desired. Now today I'm talking about letter D, and I hope you're excited about it. Now letter D stands for direction. Many years back, I heard a quote, and that quote has always resonated in my heart, and it's more or less been like a watchword for me. For those who can drive, right? Now this quote is about driving, and the quote is, how far can you go looking at the rear mirror? All right, so for every driver, there is always a mirror that helps you see the back end of the car, just to help you coordinate your driving. Now, if you want to go forward and you keep looking at the rear mirror, something tells me that your direction focus is wrong. If you want to go backwards, cool enough, you can look at the rear mirror, but your focus becomes wrong and your direction in doubt if you keep looking at the rear mirror. So my question to someone today is, how far can you go looking at the rear mirror? Now, I'm sure you've heard from a lot of speakers and a lot of people, and you've probably read in books. Direction is more important than speed. Direction is absolutely more important than speed. And that is why every gardener, when he plants a particular flower to decorate and to design his environment, one of the things they do is that they get their scissors from time to time to cut and trim the flowers. Not because the flowers are not growing, but because these flowers are growing in scattered directions. Now my question, and I'd like you to ask yourself, which I'm going to be answering, of course, in the course of my teaching, is, why is direction so important in your journey in life? How do you gain direction? Why do you need direction? These are questions you must ask yourself. Otherwise, I've seen people forced by the economy of their nations to go in a direction that they never found growth. Some got stuck in their 40s, some got stuck in their 50s. I often say to my friends that the language of a failure is that my children would do what I couldn't do. Why is direction so important? What are the benefits of directions? There are numerous benefits. But let me quickly tell you, the smallest step in the right direction ends up becoming the biggest steps of our lives. And that is why direction is very important. Now, let me quickly say again to you, your personal growth is not for you to compete, but for you to complement. I've seen a lot of people push so hard to become very big, and then they end up, competing with others. Let me give you a very good example of what I mean. When your growth becomes a hindrance to the people around you, then it becomes a problem to humanity. When a tree grows and begins to block a walk path or a drive-through lane, somehow the owners of the city or the custodians of the city would find a way to cut down that tree or cut down part of it. Does that make sense? Now, if you grow so huge in the wrong direction and you block certain people or block certain procedures or become a hindrance to certain things, naturally, the custodians of the city will come around and cut you off. When you are growing, ensure that you grow in the right direction, not to block people, not to block places. Rather, you should complement them. So we have seen trees grow in our neighborhood that grow very tall, helps to enhance nature, and doesn't block anybody at all. That is what I'm trying to enlighten you about on the subject of personal growth. Now, I've defined direction in 3 ways. Number 1, direction means a looping point. I'm sure you know what the looping system means. A good example is when you play a particular music on your phone, and you love that music so much and you put it on repeat. What direction tells you is every time you get to a particular point, every time you get to a particular stage of your life, you must recall the steps and the procedures for your personal growth to put your growth in check. So you go back to, am I accountable? Do I still believe in this thing? And am I still committed to it? Then you come back to the place of direction. And then when you grow a little further, you go back to, am I accountable? Do I believe in myself? And am I committed? It's a looping point. You keep going over it. Keep asking yourself. That is what direction does to you. A looping point. Your direction for personal growth, I have defined as a looping point. I have also defined direction as a map reading point. Now, it's still the same thing and the same meaning, where you need to pause and ask yourself, am I in the right direction? So direction, I have defined as a map reading point. A time when you go back to the master plan, a time when you go back to reassess your belief system, to reassess the powers that are inherent in you, to reassess your commitment level. This way, you are on your path to personal growth without fail. So number 3, where I've defined direction is the blueprint consultation moment. What I said 5 years ago about where I wanted to be, it's time to go back and check. Am I actually on course? Do I have all it takes? Am I following the procedure? Am I following the process? All right. So these 3 definitions are actually interwoven, but I wanted to just give you my definition of direction as it has to do with personal growth. Please don't forget, if you grow in the wrong direction, blocking other people's growth and potentials, in a matter of time, the owner of time and life will cut you off. You cannot claim to be growing and blocking other people. All right, so let me share with you the requirements for direction. And it's something you guys know. It's a word that is common in our day-to-day life. However, I have made that an acronym for you to always remember that you need directions. Number 1 is what I've called maturity. It takes maturity to accept directions. Have you seen a baby or a toddler, learning to walk? That child will go everywhere, anyhow, anytime, without minding the consequences. That is how a lot of people have been running their lives. A question for you today is, are you a baby in an adult body, such that you are too immature to take directions and to take counsel from people? You are up and about. You are engaged in every single thing. Excuse me, you're not going to grow. Now, it looks like having to take a saloon engine and fixing it in a caterpillar. Productivity will be zero because performance will not be achieved. Maturity is required if you must follow directions. Going in scattered direction is a sign of immaturity. I've seen people say, oh, don't worry, 2020, I'm going to just boom. It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen that way. Maturity is not measured by age. It is an attitude gained by experience. If you fall the first time, you need someone to give you direction, or you go back to the drawing board and ask yourself, how did I miss it? Okay? So you need to ask yourself, am I matured enough? If you are immature, then you are not going to heed to direction. Direction also means counsel, guidance, process, procedures. That's what direction means. A particular way of doing things to achieve a particular result. Maturity is not about speaking big things. It's about when you start understanding small things. When you understand small things, then we're sure that you're matured enough and you can get direction for life. So I'm sure someone is going to ask me today, oh, do you think I'm not matured? I'm not saying that, but I need you to ask yourself. There are people who have gone ahead of you. They understand the path, they understand the procedure, they understand the process. Are you committed to following that template, or you would rather want to create one for yourself? But my question is, will you be committed to it? And that, for me, is maturity. Number 2 is the word attention. Direction requires attention. Like I said at the beginning of my definition for direction, you can't aim to go forward looking in the rear mirror. Attention to details, attention to procedures, attention to the things you have planned to do. Now, when pursuing personal growth, a lot of things will call for your attention, but you must decide what works for you. You must decide what you heed to. Attention is critical. Have you ever seen a man driving with his eyes closed? He's either going to bump into an obstruction or hit a brick wall, or something dangerous happens to him. So my question to you is, are you attentive to the path of your personal growth? Attention is very important. Attention is critical for personal growth. Let me quickly take the third one, and it's the letter P. P stands for progression. I'm yet to see a man who wants to take the next step without understanding that he needs to be in motion. That's what progression means. Are you in motion? You must have started something to get direction to the next. You can't sit in your house, or you can't sit, idle and expect that directions will work for you. No, it's impossible. Progression is a proof that you need direction. If you don't get out of your bed in the morning, then there is no need to get into the bathroom to prepare for work. So the big question on this part of progression is, are you really making progress? Are you on motion? Are you on motion? If I hand you a map of how to move from point A to point B, and you do not live where you are, it's as good as not having a map. Motion is required for direction, and that's why I'm asking you that you need to have a progression plan. You need to progress daily, every day towards your goal. That way, direction becomes very useful. It's not useful when you do not make progress and you need a direction. Now you know the requirements for your direction. All you need is a map, and this map stands for maturity, attention, and progression. Now, before I sign out, let me quickly remind you of our Zoom Masterclass on personal growth. This class is going to happen on the 1st of October, 2020. Like I said, it is going to be a platform where we're going to take a lot of feedbacks, a lot of questions, and we're going to be wrapping up the series of personal growth. Trust me, you don't want to miss it for anything. There are more in stocks for us to talk about. And yeah, come, let's rub minds together, let's share ideas, and I'll be dishing out to you a few more points on how to achieve your personal growth. Don't forget, it's the 1st of October, 2020. Now, there's a cap to the attendance. Like I said earlier, there's a cap. We won't be having more than 100 persons in attendance. So if you are seriously serious and you want to be part of this masterclass, below this video you will find the link. All you need to do is click on that link, it redirects you to a Google form where you can fill. We need to have this attendance completed by the 30th of September so we can be sure of every single person attending this masterclass, and of course be able to reach out to you and remind you about the masterclass. If you have to register, then you must make up your mind to attend this masterclass. Trust me, it's going to be mind-blowing and it's going to be mind-shifting, and you don't want to miss out on it. And for those that will be joining the masterclass, I'm going to see you on the 1st of October 2020, where we'll be having a wonderful time. All right, please don't forget, like I've always said, life was made to be simple. It was never ordained by God to be complicated. Till I come your way next time, please stay safe and keep doing well for yourself. Thank you, and bye-bye.